Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm James. Who
I'm
are you?
Helen.
Hi, Helen. Where have you come from, Helen?
Perth.
Today?
Today. We're just staying in Margaret River for a few days.
Okay. Helen's a musician. That's why she's here. I saw you play at the Governor's Ballroom.
Yeah.
It would have been a long time ago.
Yeah, I did a couple of concerts there. Yep.
Playing the piano. Your music? Or was it really?
No, then it was just classical pieces.
Okay, it was just a performance. And then I've followed you on sort of social media, I don't know, various forms. And then every now the algorithm pops up your stuff and I'm like, oh, I wonder what Helen's up to. And you've recently really gotten back into it and been making your own music. I don't know how you say recently, but...
No, definitely.
Putting yourself out there, I should say.
Well, yes, both. The putting myself out there on social media is relatively new, but composing for me is also new.
Okay. Where do we begin? Do you want to say your full name? Helen
Mather.
Yeah. Is that your stage name?
Yes.
Yeah.
My real name and my stage name.
So you can find links to her music in the show notes, but look up Helen Mather. How did you get to that ballroom where I saw you?
Right. So as a kid, I'd always played instruments, piano, clarinet, voice, but never really practiced much. But also knew I didn't want to get to the point that I couldn't play at all. Mm-hmm. So did just enough to kind of get by. And then after school, I studied interior architecture.
Okay.
And ended up doing a semester abroad in Canada and had a German drummer housemate.
Okay.
And he invited me to come into a recording studio with him one day, and it was the first time I played the piano in years by that point. And I just had this moment of realising I'd rather try and fail to be a musician than work as an interior architect. And so, yeah.
Wow. And so you stopped interior architecture immediately, studying it, or did you?
No, by that point I was so close to the end I finished it, but I finished it while I was preparing for the audition for WAPA. I studied music then in Western Australia.
Okay. And so you went to WAPA then?
Yeah, went to WAPA, studied classical music because that was all I knew.
Yeah.
In hindsight, probably wasn't the best choice for me, but that was all I'd learned, and I knew I wanted to study music, so I went into classical.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is going to WAPA like to do classical music?
You'll probably get a different answer depending on who you ask. I think for me personally, for a external validation-seeking, people-pleasing perfectionist at the time, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Because there are some amazing things about classical music, but it can also be quite rigid.
Yeah. And
if you don't do things in a certain way, you're kind of... Well, for me, I ended up feeling not great about myself. And knew I didn't want to be a concert pianist, but wasn't quite sure what I did want to do.
Mm.
Always wanted to try composing, but every time I started, I think I just didn't have enough trust in myself to keep going.
Did they, is any part of your course about composing? Did they teach you?
No. So composition is a course at WAPA,
Okay.
but it's a separate course.
Separate course, okay.
Yeah.
So it's you would have to do that in your own time. You weren't
Yeah, exactly. Which I think a lot of people did. Maybe not so much in the classical stream, but in the jazz or the contemporary, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So I finished classical music, and I just kind of wanted to learn another language. And having spent the 3 years before studying classical music, I figured, why not Germany? Because, lots of composers come from there. So I moved to Germany.
Purely because of that?
Well, from the backpacking I'd done before that, I could kind of imagine living in Germany or Scandinavia or the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And I think I basically chose Germany because of the music, yeah.
Okay, wow.
So I was in Berlin for 6 months and then moved to Munich.
Backpacking, or you would...
No, I was living.
Living. Doing music? Or?
No, I was trying to learn German.
Yeah.
I bought a little e-piano and was still practicing and had a few lessons with a few professors at different universities there. But no, mostly I was just trying to learn German.
Yeah.
And then moved to Munich.
Okay.
Because I needed to start working and I wasn't sure about staying in Berlin, so I found a job in Munich and went to Munich. And met my now husband
Okay.
and ended up staying there.
And he's German.
He's German, yes.
That really amps up your ability. You need to learn fluent German if you...
Yes. Well, the good thing was by the time I moved to Munich, my German was just good enough that I could start building friendships in German.
Yeah.
And so when I met my husband, I was, yes, quite strict and said, we're only going to speak German, which we did at the beginning.
You settled in Germany full time?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't initially the intention to stay there permanently, but my husband is a scientist, and the area of research he's in, it doesn't really exist so much in Australia. So at this stage, we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you decide to take on music again? Like, what's the...
That's a bit of a story. So I had kind of stopped playing for a while. I had a bit of a intense few months from the end of 2019 to 2020, where I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, found out I was pregnant, and then the world went into lockdown in the space of 4 months. And then 6 months after the world went into lockdown, I became a mum in Germany, cut off from Australia.
Okay.
And to be honest, I think just a few years after that were, joyful and amazing, but also incredibly challenging. And my son must have been around 2.5, and I was struggling, to be honest. And I had a rare child-free moment and got myself all set up to binge watch Netflix and eat a tub of ice cream. And something just said, go to the piano. Just go to the piano. Something in my head. And so I did. And it's one of the few times I've composed an entire piece in one sitting. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible. And it was less about the music I'd created and more this sudden realization that I could use the music to help me process some of the stuff I was struggling with. Mm. And that's kind of where it started. So that must have been about 3 years ago.
So skip ahead to, I'm guessing, I've lost track of time, but last year I think you released an EP.
Yes.
We might have to pronounce the name of.
I released my debut EP last year in March. It's called In Matrescence.
And that word, I looked it up because I was obviously going to buy the album or the EP, and it's about the transition into motherhood from a woman to a girl to a mum. Tell me why you chose that name.
Well, exactly. So like adolescence, transition from child to adult, matrescence, transition from woman to mother. Because that first album was for me about processing some of the feelings I was having in early motherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really helpful to compose it.
And so how long... So from... Okay, the album came out March last year, 2025, and you started doing this... That first piece you did would have been 3 years or 2022?
Yeah, about 2022. Yeah, I started composing. Yep.
And when did you go, okay... How did you go from that one piece to going, I'm going to put together a collection and actually try and put it out there?
I kind of immediately fell in love with composing, but I hadn't really intended to release it initially. Mm-hmm. And so I was just sort of composing for me. And I have, in Munich, I have two amazing friends, and we're all from different continents, and we're all musicians and music teachers, and we play different instruments. And in the end, I played it for a couple of my songs for these two friends. And one of them in particular, who also composes, really just sort of gave me a bit of confidence and a boost and said I should just record it and put it out there.
Yeah.
So I did.
And what is that process like? Do you have to go, I'm going to write the music first, or have you written these songs before you decide I'm going to actually record it and put it out there?
The way I compose is I do write my pieces down, sort of just in shorthand on manuscript, and then I type it up so I can print it out and scribble it all over again.
Yeah.
And so I did have the printed copies of the pieces. I know a lot of musicians don't. I guess that's my classical training kicking in there. And then, got in touch with a sound engineer. Was trying to do it on a budget, so we ended up recording in the the grand piano showroom of one of the music stores in Munich because I happen to know the guy who runs the store.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best recording conditions because there was a tram line directly outside. But, you know, when you're trying to do it on a budget.
Yeah.
So recorded them in September 24. And then the mixing and mastering took a while, which was okay. I wasn't really in a rush. And, then I decided the thing I was umming and ahhing about was whether to do a release concert or not. By that point, I hadn't been on stage in 10 years.
Yeah.
And wasn't sure if I wanted to, but I decided to. And
you did a release concert?
Yes, in Munich, yeah.
And what does that involve? Like you, again, hiring a venue?
Yeah.
Or doing in the showroom of a piano store? Or?
No, I did hire a venue. It was within the Steinway House in Munich. There's a little concert hall, which is like a small room. And I'm members in a few different groups in Munich, and because of that I got it a bit cheaper. And I guess the thing is, as a new composer, you just invite people you know and hope that they bring friends.
Yeah.
But I think mostly that release concert was just friends and friends of friends. But it was, I don't know if I'd say it was fun, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. I'm still quite interested about the actual release of the EP, because it's like, you know, I used to help out a friend who was in a band, you know, back in my youth, and you would, I guess this is the MySpace days. I guess he used to market things over MySpace, but there was no such thing as Spotify. You know, you could. It was even hard to put your music up online to download at that point. I think you could put it up on MySpace and let it play on that. But you would still make CDs and you would sell it at your gigs, and you know, you would go around doing gigs and things to try and promote your music and stuff like that. And now you're here, you got this recording. I mean, at what point do you go, oh, what am I going to do with this album once I've got it in my, like, the actual recording in your hands? Like,
well, that was something one of my friends in Munich walked me through. So the process is pretty simple, really. You just find a distributor, and she recommended her distributor, and then you give them the music, and you choose which streaming platforms you want it to appear on. You pay them a fee, obviously. They have to make money.
Yeah.
And then you choose a release day, and on that day they release all your music to all the platforms you've selected. And then the royalties for all those platforms, which obviously are a bit of a joke, but unless I'm sure Taylor Swift could live off her royalties, but most people can't. The royalties then get paid to the distributor, and then you can choose if you want to have it paid out. I think last year, my first year of being online, I earned something like 38 euros. Woo!
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but the process with the distributor is fairly simple. It's just a challenge today with Spotify, and I mean, Spotify's the devil. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah. Some of the other
podcasting.
Yeah. I'm not in the music thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Some of the other platforms do try to treat artists a bit better, but the problem is most people are on Spotify.
Yeah.
But yes, but the process of releasing it is pretty easy.
Okay. And did that interest you at all, or is that like a stress? Like, is that you just want to get back to making more music? It's
a challenge I've been working on. So I released the EP, and then I recorded my second album, which is an LP, and I've released 2 singles from that album so far. And so I've had 3 releases, and it's something I've had to be very aware of, because the actual process of composing these pieces and also the process of recording them, which is joy and amazing. And then I noticed that on the release days, especially these last 2 singles, which I think haven't been as present as the first release,
because I was going to ask you that, because I follow you, but I don't try not to spend too much time on social media. But so I saw you release this new you're releasing something new, and you put up a thing where you can pre-save it, and so I saved it into my library so it would be there on the release day. But then I was like, I remember seeing your post like, oh, today's release day. I was like, oh, cool. I'll get in my car and drive. I live quite far away, and I'll put this thing on, and it's just one song. And I was like, oh, I haven't been paying attention to what your release strategy, because I expected it was going to be an album. So you're obviously doing it differently this time round. Is that because you didn't release like singles for the EP, right?
No, and the thought was the EP just wasn't long enough to release singles.
Okay, yeah.
Because this upcoming album, the full album, is 8 tracks.
Yeah.
The thought was release 3 singles before, just to try and stay a bit more present. But this is also something I'm finding challenging, is the more time I spend trying to think about how to market myself, the worse I feel about my music. And so now I've got the release dates, at least for the 3rd single. And then when I get back to Germany, I'll arrange the release for the album. And now I'm just trying to sort of send stuff to the distributor and then just sit back and let it happen. And if people listen to it, great. If they don't, that's okay too. I just don't want to feel worse about my music based on who is or isn't listening to it. So that's the current challenge.
I mean, it's hard. It's probably like, if you're releasing the songs out, you're spreading that momentum over a more period of time, rather than if you just put it all out at once, it goes off and then you're like, oh, well, that's it. And I guess, you're building up an anticipation for the actual album release. And you've got to get yourself out on the algorithm. And I only know this from marketing some of my other projects. You just got to be out there and hope one day the algorithm picks up something you did, and then that. But if you have to be continuously putting something out to get people's attention, basically.
Yeah. If you want to sort of play the game, you want to be releasing things fairly regularly. Interestingly, the last 2 singles haven't done particularly well, but the EP is now starting to get onto algorithmic playlists. Yeah, which is cool. The challenge is, as a composer, the way you make a living from it, if you want to. Obviously, I'm not at this stage, but the way you make a living from it is to perform. Yeah, and I'm really glad I did the release concert, but I also think I'm not a performer. Yeah. So now it's just a question of what next.
Do the distributors give you advice on how to get the algorithm to pick up your music in Spotify playlists and stuff like that?
Not directly. Depending on what sort of subscription you've got with the distributors, they will pitch your songs to playlists, to the editors, to playlists for you. Which they didn't do for my EP, but they did do for the last 2 singles. It wasn't successful. But they do offer that depending on the membership you've got. But I had to pay for the extra membership because I wanted non-standard capitalization. Okay. And then you had to pay for the next membership. I don't know.
God, that sounds just like such a scary world. It makes me want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about what's going to work on the algorithm and getting on playlists. And then you hear about really wanted to interest in your opinions on AI music.
Oh, don't get me started.
Because that's what people are like. Well, if we're just trying to play the algorithm, let's just chuck out some AI generated stuff that's like just from a prompt saying, and that's what I've heard Spotify is doing, is because they're generating their own AI music, because then they don't have to pay royalties to anyone. They can just fill up playlists with stuff people will keep listening to in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And they keep saying they're not doing it, and then they keep getting caught generating AI music that they then don't have to pay. I have all the feelings about AI music. I mean, rage, but also just real sadness. Because what's the point of being human if we're not creating our own art? Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like... just the concept of that first EP that's about this music is about a theme that connects you, that transition from woman to mother, or adolescence to motherhood. What's the definition?
Woman, the transition from woman to mother, just like adolescence is the transition from child to adult.
Yeah. Rather than, I think, even if there's some kind of really creative AI that comes out, do you care about that kind of story for an AI person? Or
Yeah, I don't think AI is going to have that
AI
story.
is just going to optimize for like, oh yeah, these people just want that same beat that they like from these songs they like, and we're just going to generate stuff based on those things, and then there's just
Exactly. But I guess on the other hand, I mean, the listeners of my music wouldn't necessarily care why it's called In Matrescence. But some may. I have had a couple of mums get in touch with me. But a lot of them won't necessarily. And my second album has a completely different theme, but it's also something that I was just processing in life at the time, and I'm already working on my...
Have you announced that yet? Or...
No.
Okay.
Not officially.
Okay. Did you want to talk about what the theme is, or are you going to save that for?
No, I'm happy to. So the second album is called Both And, and it's kind of, for me, it was learning to sort of live in the paradox, learning to, be okay with feeling multiple things at once. I think it's only since becoming a mum that I've learned to identify any of my feelings, and it was now the challenge of learning to, be okay with everything, not everything being clear, and often the paradox of life. And so, so both and, because, I think we live in this world where everything is presented as either or, and the idea is, well, no, mostly it's both and. So that was the concept of this one.
Is that like an inspiration for you to sit down and write something? Like, what is that? Does that theme, is that a retrospective theme where you're like looking back as like, oh yeah, this is what I've been dealing with, or do you set out, I need some inspiration to write, so I need to, okay, this is what I'm worried about now or happy about now, and I'm gonna, because it's, just to be clear, if you haven't listened to Helen's music, it's instrumental music. You're not like, I don't think you're going to put lyrics out or anything like that. So it's a traditional composition. The music is the journey. Yeah,
it's just piano music at this stage.
Yeah.
So far, I've never actively looked for inspiration. And I've also never forced myself to compose. I've just tried to keep it as something as when I really want to and feel inspired or have feelings that I need to process out. Yeah. I just start, and I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly, but I think with both In Matrescence and now Both And, I think I was a few pieces deep before I realised, okay, this is what I'm working on here. But it wasn't really a conscious choice.
Yeah. Because obviously when you come up with the first piece, that's just a one-off, and it's not until you start connecting the dots, oh, it's a pattern. Or
yeah. And it also just realising, this is what my subconscious is dealing with right now.
You got a theme for this new album, and do you come up with a song and go, oh, well, that's not going to fit with the rest of these, so I'm going to put that aside now? And
well, that hasn't happened yet, interestingly. No. Okay. I think because maybe I can get quite focused on a theme or trying to understand something, or I don't know if anyone else is struggling with life sometimes, but I do, and then I can get quite intense about wanting to understand something, and maybe that's why so far, just coincidentally, all my pieces have fitted into the theme. And Both And was interesting because actually of the 8 pieces, I'd finished composing 7 of them before I even released In Matrescence.
Yeah.
But I just had this sense it wasn't finished yet. And a week after the release concert, I had an idea for a piece. And when that one was finished, I was like, okay, now it's finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that last piece was a response to the concert, you think, or no?
Not specifically. I just had a sense that there was something missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I'm on to the third album.
So that's already begun because you've...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already finished 4 pieces of of that one. But I think this one's going to be longer again.
Okay.
Is my sense. I don't know.
You probably grew up listening to, symphonies, or what do you call it in the piano? Well, like a long piece.
Like sonatas. And I guess concertos often have piano soloists. I didn't actually.
Yeah.
My mum listened to a bit of classical music, but more of what I heard at home is my dad was actually a big fan of original 60s German electronic music.
Okay.
And my mum more sort of the golden oldies.
Yeah.
So wasn't much classical music at home. I think it was just really standard back then that if you learn an instrument, you learn classical. I try really hard with my piano students not to force them to learn classical if they're not interested in that.
Do you think you would ever sit down and write like a piece that's like, you know, got various movements in it, and a long piece that's got a 3-act structure or something? Or
I mean, never say never. I can't at this stage. I can't really imagine writing a modern sonata or anything like that. I am really interested by some of the minimal composers where, you know, one track can be 25 minutes of rolling in from one theme to the other. I do like that idea. So far, I've just written individual pieces and relatively short pieces. So yes, I do like that idea. I don't know if I would ever write a piece with movements. Who knows?
And what about like when you're laying out this new album as 8 pieces? How do you decide what the order of the tracks are going to be? Like, is that a real? Are you going to do it? You know, I assume you're not doing it chronologically of when you wrote them, or
no.
How do you know? That's quite a hard.
Just sort of a
thing
gut feeling, I guess. Although interesting, I still have to decide the final order for this second album. Because I'm not sure if my choices for the singles that I've released will. I had an order for it, and now, given the singles I've released, I'm not sure if that order makes sense. Although I guess it should just make sense musically. It shouldn't matter if the first track on the album happens to be one of the singles I've released. But yeah, I don't have an official process there. It's just a feeling.
One of my favourite movies is this film called Once, and it's about this busker from Ireland meets a piano player at a piano shop, and they decide to team up and write an album. Have you seen it?
No.
You should watch it. It's really cool.
Okay.
It won the Oscar that year for best music or something. But
cool.
But part of the big scene, sort of at the end, is like, okay, we've recorded this album. Like, how we need to go in. We need to get in a car, put the cassette in the car or the CD or whatever they got, and actually sit and listen to it end to end and see, does it work as a piece? Like, have you got to that point where you're like, I'm going to sit down and just listen to it end and go, does it all work as one thing? Or what does it sound like in a car, or at a gymnasium, or with your headphones on, running around or going for a run? Or
no, I haven't actually done that. I think with the first album, I knew the pieces so well, I didn't even listen to them once I'd put them in order. I think I just listened to them in my head. But no, I haven't thought of that, but it's probably a good idea. I do remember when I started recording this second album, I realised I should have played the pieces on different pianos before I decided they were finished. I don't know if it would have changed anything, but, you know, living in Germany, you're in small apartments mostly. So we just don't have room for a grand piano or anything. And even if we did, our neighbours would hate us if you're in an apartment building. And so I'm composing on my piano at home, which is a sort of a hybrid piano. So it has the mechanics of a real piano, but the sound is produced digitally. And they're really good, these instruments, but it's not a grand piano. And I remember just sitting down at the grand piano when we started recording and going, this is a bit different. I think it still worked.
Do you think, and so for the next album, are you thinking more about that? Like, what instrument am I going to record the actual...
Yes. Yeah. Well, I will definitely play the pieces on different pianos before I decide if they're finished or not. And then in the recording studio, the last album, I had the option of the grand piano or this really beautiful old wooden upright. And initially the plan was to record a couple of pieces on that. We decided against it in the end. In the end, we prepared the piano for one of the pieces instead, the grand piano. So stuck duct tape in it, which was good fun. And completely changed the sound. But yeah, ended up recording all of them on the grand piano.
Okay. And so this, you think this? Are you still going to record it at the same piano shop?
Well, the second album wasn't. The second album was in a proper recording studio. It got really lucky. Sort of a friend of a friend had just taken over an old film studio. Because these days no one can afford to properly soundproof a new recording studio, and so he had that. And that was just really amazing. to have an actual recording studio, with the glass wall and all
Yes.
the buttons behind it.
Yeah.
I felt very professional.
Are you involved in like the mixing at the end? Like,
Not at all
No.
at this stage. I just don't really know much about it. So obviously the sound engineer did his mixes and then sent it to me, and I
give feedback.
I gave feedback, but no, I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
It's not something you learn when you study classical music.
Yeah. But are you thinking about that more having on this third album?
Yeah, for sure. And thinking about potentially electronics. I just would like to educate myself a little bit in the area of electronics and the mixing and the mastering. And I'm starting to get interested in composing with other people.
Yeah.
Up until now, it's just been my own little piano bubble.
Yeah.
And that would be different again. So, for instance, the German housemate I had in Canada, who was the drummer, we both live in Munich now, and I'd be pretty keen to try some pieces with him on percussion.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty loose in my rubato
Yeah.
and my use of sort of playing with the tempo, which I don't think I could be if I was playing with a drummer. But,
Okay.
but definitely something I'm interested in.
Does your classical background allow you to go, I'm going to add a violin to this and I'm going to write out some sheet music and send it to, because I do follow some artists, especially during COVID, who they would compose something and they send it out to their friends who play that instrument, and then they record it independently and then sync it back up, and then they'll put that combined track together, which sounds like it. I'm sure there's some technology behind it to make sure it all syncs together.
But definitely an option. One of my friends in Munich is doing exactly that
Yeah.
at the moment. She's doing the main composing, and she has sort of an idea about what she wants each instrument to do, but she leaves it then up to each instrumentalist. It's a cool idea, but I would probably have to try and then keep to one tempo.
Yeah. So what's next? You're still you've released the third single from this current.
I've released the
LP?
second, so the third is
Second,
coming up
okay.
in April.
Okay. Of the single?
Yes, the
Yeah.
third single, and then the plan, I haven't organised it yet, but the plan is to release the full album in May or June.
Okay. And you're going to do a little concert again?
I don't think so. I think this time I will just do the online release.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been doing over the last few years is writing a book, and the book's finished, but it just takes a lot of work to self-publish it. So
Yeah.
I'm worried that if I was investing all the time organising a release concert, I'd push the book back again. So that's my project for this year.
Have you ever thought about doing not a concert, but making music videos, like recording you playing and then putting it out on a YouTube channel kind of thing? I know you put out little snippets on your Instagram, which I know you from, but...
Yeah. I mean, I would love to do that. I just don't have the funding for it at this stage. I mean, my dream at the moment, I've never tried it, so I don't know how it would work out, but I would absolutely love to get in touch with someone who's making nature documentaries.
Oh, yeah.
And write the music for them.
Oh, cool. As a composer.
As a composer.
Yeah.
And because, I love the idea of, my music being on, I guess, any sort of documentary, but in my head it's nature documentaries. And just getting my music out there as a composer in a way that doesn't have to put me on stage.
Yeah. I'm sure there's someone out there recording stuff in a field somewhere who's like, I wish I had someone who could do the music for this that isn't the same old stuff that you put on YouTube that every person has. But
yeah, that would be really cool. I feel like you make these sort of connections when you're at uni.
Yeah.
But because I've come to this a bit later,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of these connections in Germany.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I really know. Yeah, I don't know many people making films. You make films, don't you?
Yeah, I don't really do it much anymore, but it was always like, I always wanted to find a good relationship with a composer and do that before the film, because like traditionally in film you make the movie and then you may have already found a composer, but they don't actually sit down and start composing the movie until the actual edit of the film is locked off. And I always wanted to have some kind of relationship with a filmmaker. It was like, okay, let's set the themes with the music as part of the script, and then let's shoot the video to the music.
So do it the other way around.
Yeah, but it was quite hard to find. In fact, I would meet these really nice composers who'd come across me and say, oh, yeah, I would be interested in working in films, and that concept just baffled them. And anyway, I'm not a good communicator. But because like famously, like you see these famous scenes, or like Quentin Tarantino, he picks these songs out and then he edits the music to this famous song. So it's very tightly coordinated, the editing and that music, but because it's a pre-existing song that's existed for 30 years. But you're also locked into that song, and so you might, famously is that now what's it by Lou Reed, Walk on the Wild Side, that has this really chill tone that as an instrumental would be really good in a movie scene, but when you actually put together the real song, it's about like a hooker, getting like it thematically doesn't.
Right. So musically it would fit,
unless you're doing about a hooker in New York City, or I can't remember how it's set, but getting beat up and stuff like that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Anyway, I'm probably getting that wrong, but if you look up if you listen closely to the lyrics of that song, it doesn't match really the vibe of what...
Right.
At least what you imagine when you hear that song, when you're just humming along in your car, But anyway.
Yeah, I guess some songs, the lyrics and the music, like if you actually listen to the lyrics, they end up taking you by surprise.
Yeah.
That's what it was about.
Yeah. Have you thought about getting a singer to do something? Or...
yeah, maybe. I have written a couple of songs which I have no intention of releasing at this point, because I do love to sing, but I don't necessarily see myself as a singer. But yeah, working with a singer would be cool. But interestingly, I mean, the piano pieces that I do are more sort of ambient classical, maybe. I'm not sure if that's a genre. I'm making it. But the few times I've composed songs, it's become a bit poppier. But yeah, working with a singer would be cool.
When you released the Matrescence, how do you say it?
In Matrescence.
I was working at a film festival in Bailing Up, and I live in this small town called Nannup, and there's this beautiful, it's this crazy road that connects the two towns. That's like, 5 people die on it every week, because it's like a dangerous road that people like to drive on. But it is, as long as you're safe, it's fine. But you just drive along and you're going through the Blackwood Valley, following the river, and I always look forward to picking out my soundtrack for whenever I have to drive to Bailing Up, and this time your album was out, so it was perfectly timed, and I was driving along at sunset, listening to the album, and just, that's probably the best way to enjoy it, really.
Thank you.
And you also put it out on CD. I meant to ask you about that. Like, how did that come about? I actually got the CD in the mail. You sent it. I think your mum sent it to me.
Yeah, I asked all my Australian friends who was interested in the CD or the sheet music, and because my mum came over for the release concert, she then brought it all back to Australia and posted it out. It's a very professional operation I'm running here. The CDs were pretty easy to print. I'm very lucky. My sister-in-law is a very talented illustrator, and so she did the cover art for it, and so then I had the cover art and used a company that you send them your music and they send you the CDs.
You know, it'd be really fun.
What?
Doing an actual LP. I hear that's even way bigger. Like, I reckon you could get.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because my sister bought me a I don't know what it's like in Germany, but my sister bought me a record player for my birthday. And it's got Bluetooth, so you just, even if I don't have a stereo system, I can just connect it to a Bluetooth, and they've come back big time, record players. And I think there are now, because of that, it's become this little cottage industry to make actual money on your thing, is actually sell the LP, because obviously the artwork's bigger and you can put it on your wall if it's your fan. So even these big artists sell them, because you can put it on the wall as a poster, even if you don't have a record player. But
actually, I saw recently one of the pianists that I love, that she just released a single and had done an LP. Wait, would you do an LP for a single? I think it was a single. Anyway. But
you can go to JB Hi-Fi, and there's a whole section of, hey, buy a record player. They've come back full circle.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
and I think record sales are way outstrip CD sales these days. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I might have to look into that.
Because I bet you there's a place that makes it just as easy as making a CD. I don't know, but
Probably.
A few of my podcasts I listen to have released a special episode on a record disc just to make it's a fundraiser, you know.
Oh, that's cool.
So if they're putting podcasts on a record, I'm sure it's even easier to put music on there.
You'd think so.
Yeah. So yeah, you should look into that.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
I hope it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, Helen? Like, I know you've got I follow you on the Instagram, but I'm not on Facebook or anything else.
I mean, I'm pretty new to social media. I only got an Instagram account because of the music, because of the composing. But yeah, so people can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Helen Mather Music.
Yep.
I actually have a second Instagram for the book, which is Helen Mather Words. So if all the new mums out there, my book's about mumming.
Did you want to talk about the book? I was wondering.
I can do. This was just my other channel next to the music of processing everything I was feeling as a new mum, where I started writing. It was almost just like journaling, where I was getting a bit frustrated with some of the messaging that I was getting as a new mum, and thinking about what would be more helpful messaging. So the book's called Rewriting the Mum Memos.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just supposed to be a book that supports new mums and releases them from some of the unhelpful rhetoric that we get fed.
Yeah.
And I guess just sort of helps them see that if they're finding it hard, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just the systems that we're parenting in aren't great.
Is that the book that's already out, or the one you're worried is going to conflict with the release of?
That's the one. The book's finished, but I haven't published it yet.
Okay.
So I'll be self-publishing, because as a new author these days, you can't really get a contract with a publisher unless you've got a platform. And I think I have on my Helen Mather Words Instagram, I think I have 115 followers or something. But I just started releasing little excerpts of it on Substack.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just helenmather.substack.com, I think. But yeah, the music is on all streaming platforms. I think if you search Helen Mather, especially if you added Matrescence to it, my name would definitely come up. So it's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, and a lot of the smaller ones.
Yeah, I think I mainly listen on Tidal.
Oh, yeah, it's on Tidal. Oh, thank you, because Tidal's much better for artists.
Yes, that's why I think I subscribe to it. Although I think I buy it through some country that's cheaper, but...
Yeah, I'm on Deezer now. I cancelled my Spotify and I use Deezer. But yeah, I think Tidal might be even better, actually.
I think Tidal is known to be the best. And then I know Apple Music, because of Taylor Swift said, you got to pay the artist more. Apple Music has upped their rates, but I think they're the second best. But I don't... I've been not following that sort of industry for that. I used to.
If you've got a platform other than Spotify, please use that.
Well, I think I asked you about if you're going to put it on Bandcamp, because I love Bandcamp. It's like you put the album up and it's but it's been bought by the people who make Fortnite.
Right.
So I guess if you want your music in Fortnite, you've got to put it on Bandcamp. But
yeah, I did mean to look into that. I just never quite got around to it. I'm not very good at doing the admin-y stuff. Every time I sit down to do the admin-y stuff, I go, I think I'll just compose something instead.
I mean, it's just nice if you're someone out there who wants to buy an album but they can't buy the physical version. It's just nice to have the Bandcamp version, because it allows you to download it, add it to your iTunes, which then sticks it to the cloud. But they do have their own streaming service, but you get to put up really high quality versions, like the high quality versions that you recorded, so that the person buying goes, oh yeah, I'm getting the best version, rather than whatever Spotify sends you down the pipe.
Yeah.
Now that it's been bought by a big corporation that owns Fortnite, they may have gone off. But back in the day, it was where the cool kids put their albums.
I would definitely have to look into that.
All the sort of the indie musicians I follow, I usually buy the album from that. And what they can do is you can set a price, say $10, but you can pay more. So you can say, I want to pay $50 for your album, even though you're only asking $10, because I'm trying to support you as an artist.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to Bandcamp. That's next thing to do.
So, well, thanks for coming on. It was really interesting to see that.
But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's great to be here. My first podcast interview.
Cool. Oh, lovely. Well, hopefully you're out there, and I'll have the link in the show notes for her socials, and a link to where you can buy or stream her music. We'll keep an eye out for the new LP coming May, maybe.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.